These are this afternoon's top stories. Breaking news, missing boat found but not the teenager. Seaweed endangers the sea turtles. St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots will be taking on the St. Lucia Zouks tonight. Good afternoon, welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday 10th July 2015. I am Nisha David. In national news, we begin the lunchtime news with breaking news. The fishing vessel in relation to missing teen Wilson Keynes was found off the St. Croix coast, the police confirms. ZIZ will have a more thorough story as we follow these developments. There is a definite issue with the sargassum seaweed and turtles both in the sea and on land. That is the belief of Dr. Kimberly Stewart, director of the St. Kitts Sea Turtle Monitoring Network.
On the beaches, we're beginning to have such an influx of it. It's several feet deep at this point. If that is over the top of a nest that is getting ready to hatch, then the hatchlings can't get out. If it's not actually over the nest, but just in front of the nest near the shoreline, then they can't actually crawl over that to get into the ocean. So we've been having to really track these nests and make sure that we catch the hatchlings before they get stranded within the sargassum.
Dr. Stewart said the sea turtles can get trapped in the seaweed and drown.
We actually had a small hawksbill, around 2 years old, strand last week on North Friars. Typically at that age, those animals are very pelagic and they seek out those sargassum mats in the Atlantic to actually hide in and feed where they're camouflaged. But in this case, I think the mats were just so large the turtle got trapped and washed in. And Dr. Dennis at the veterinary school did a necropsy and found that the turtle's GI was just full of the sargassum. And it actually starved to death because it was trapped in there and that's all that it could access.
This is what Dr. Stewart says you should do should you encounter a trapped turtle.
The best thing to do if you find a turtle stranded in the sargassum is to get it into the shade if possible. Obviously, call us and we'll get ready to respond, but getting it into the shade, getting some water poured over it to cool it down, because lots of times they are experiencing hyperthermia because they've been exposed to the sun for so long. So those are important.
Last week, Barbados reported 37 drowned turtles on one beach, with the blame centering on the sargassum seaweed. 14 frontline employees and supervisors and managers sharpened their knowledge, skills and attitudes in the area of customer service delivery and worked towards receiving international certification for their skills and competencies by attending the Certified Customer Service Professional Program. According to Dr. Henry, such certification and training programs are designed to help participants succeed in today's customer-driven world and to ensure that companies and organizations maintain their competitive edge through adoption of best practices, which provide the means for delivering world-class customer service consistently. A former lecturer in the UK and a former university professor in the United States, Dr. Henry is a prolific writer and has published several books, notably best-selling book Quality Customer Care for the Caribbean. His most recent book, How to Become a World-Class Individual, 33 Strategies for Success, is a runaway bestseller. Dr. Henry will be conducting a follow-up visit to St. Kitts during the week of 27th July to administer the CCSP program, provide customized training to savvy clients, and deliver a one-day public seminar on 31st July. Regionally, how to remain competitive in the global tourism industry was the context of discussions during the second meeting of the OECS Council of Ministers of Tourism held in Grenada on Thursday, according to a Caribbean News Now report. Tourism ministers from member states, representatives from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the Caribbean Tourism Organization, and the hotel and tourism industry gathered to evaluate ways of revitalizing the region's tourism industry, paying specific attention to opportunities for collaboration, the report continued. This year's theme, OECS Economic Union, Pushing Off the Tourism Envelope, implores the delegates to explore, among other issues, the ease of travel within the region, the World Bank Tourism Competitiveness Project, and opportunities for collaboration between the OECS and Martinique, as well as Cuba. the change in travel patterns of contemporary travelers, as well as the emergence of new tourism powerhouse destinations such as Gambia and the opening up of Cuba, were all issues stressed in the opening ceremony. These, among others, were reasons for increased cooperation and reassessments of the ways we market and develop our tourism products, Dr. Dedicus Jules, Director General of the OECS Commission, said. The OECS Council of Ministers of Tourism is one of 5 new organs outlined by the revised Treaty of Bastille, establishing the OECS Economic Union. Castries Southeast Member of Parliament Guy Joseph speaks out to clear the air on his rant in the House of Assembly on Tuesday. As Riani Isidore reports, the parliamentarian says the Speaker of the House is to blame for the confrontation.
Speaker, you will allow me to make my point?
No.
I didn't know you were part of the debate, Mr. Speaker.
When I am speaking, you sit down.
Tuesday's House sitting degenerated into a jaw-dropping back and forth between the Castries Southeast MP and the House Speaker, much to the astonishment of those present in the chamber and the national TV audience. Guy Joseph, who expressed qualms with the defects liability section of a contract for the Southern Roads project, is standing by his actions. At the United Workers' Party Secretariat on Wednesday, he told the media the Speaker of the House owes him an apology.
So the Speaker must know his place. And if anybody deserves an apology, it is me that deserve an apology from the Speaker. Because the Speaker had no right to come and explain to me what the law was. And what they said I was disrespectful, what I was telling the Speaker, I was not being disrespectful. I wanted to tell the Speaker in a very diplomatic way, when you want to engage in debate, come and run the politics.
The heated verbal exchange resulted in a strong reprimand from the Speaker, who discontinued Joseph's contribution on the motion. The Castries Southeast MP would eventually depart the chamber moments later.
So it is clear to me that there was an intention by the government, aided by the Speaker, to stop me from highlighting all of the problems in this.
Internationally, in this Euronews report, it is being reported that data breaches at the U.S. government's Personnel Management Agency by hackers with suspicions centering on China involves millions more people than previously estimated, U.S. officials said on Thursday.
Hackers have stolen personal information from millions more people than previously thought in a massive attack on U.S. government databases. The Office of Personnel Management, which handles human resources, says data's been stolen from 21.5 million people who've undergone background checks. This includes their social security numbers. That's in addition to data on over 4 million current and former federal workers stolen in what's being called a separate but related incident. Many people were affected by both hacks. China's been widely seen as the prime suspect in the breach. Beijing firmly denies any involvement.
An online demand news report states that British holidaymakers will begin returning home from Tunisia today after the Foreign Office warned of more possible terrorist attacks. Cara Clegg has this report.
British holidaymakers have been advised to leave Tunisia after the Foreign Office warned a further terrorist attack is highly likely. Following the warning, Thomas Cook Thompson and First Choice said they were cancelling all bookings to the country until October 31st. The holiday companies will bring back customers and staff as soon as possible in response to the Foreign Office advice. Around 3,000 British tourists are currently in Tunisia on package holidays. British Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond warned of all but essential travel to all parts of Tunisia.
While we do not have any information suggesting a specific or imminent threat, since the attack in Sousse, the intelligence and threat picture has developed considerably, leading us to the view that a further terrorist attack is highly likely. The Tunisian investigation into those behind the Sousse attack and that on the Bardo Museum earlier this year is ongoing, and the Tunisians have made clear they want to track down further individuals who they suspect may have links to this attack. Furthermore, we have now completed an assessment of the security measures in tourist areas. And while we are working with the Tunisian authorities to further strengthen those measures, we judge that more work is needed to effectively protect tourists from the terrorist threat.
The move comes after 30 Britons were killed by an Islamist gunman in Sousse on June 26, the worst loss of British lives in such an incident since the bombings in London in July 2005. It came after 22 people, mostly tourists, were killed at the National Bardo Museum outside Tunis in a separate attack in March.
That brings us to the end of this ZIZ Midday newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thanks for joining us. Have a fantastic Friday. I'm Nisha David.